Hey AfterBuzzers, thank you so much for joining us for another UnREAL After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight, we are going to be discussing Season 2, Episode 6, titled Casualty, and clearly, we have a very special guest in the studio, so please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thanks again for joining us tonight for the UnREAL After Show on AfterBuzz TV. We have the beautiful Lindsay Musil here with us in the studio tonight, aka Beth Ann.
Thank you.
Let's all give Beth Ann the nice round of applause too. She deserved one. It was amazing. And guys, we're on the live chat. I'm Sam Davidson, your host. Two lovely ladies here with me.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abby Vega, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, and you can find me anywhere at LACRETIALYON, since there is only one.
And where can everyone find you on social media, Lindsay?
You can find me at Lindsay Musil. That's pretty much my handle for all of them. It's LINDSAYMUSIL.
Awesome. And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamD43, Twitter and Instagram. Of course, AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV. All right, guys. Last week I said this was my favorite episode, and then I changed it this week. What did you think?
This episode was by far, we were talking about it before, by far the best of this season so far, I thought. Possibly like one of the best ones of the series for sure.
And the coolest part is Shuri Appleby directed it. Yeah, and it really, I was so impressed with some of the choices she made. So yeah, it was a really cool episode. And again, still love Chet. But I'm starting to really like Coleman's crazy too.
Nice.
Yeah.
As a viewer, did you watch it last season at all?
I didn't watch it last season, but I did watch it once I booked the show. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I had no idea. I think it's kind of like underrated on some level. I mean, I know a lot of people really appreciate it and it's critically acclaimed, but not enough people watch it yet. Yeah. And watching it, I was like, this is going to blow up. So once I booked it, I was like, oh, this is so exciting. This is like a role of a lifetime.
Yeah, because with that being said, I know a lot of people who, because I watched it as it was on and then rewatched it again when it was all on Hulu, and I know a bunch of people who didn't watch it until it was on Hulu. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people didn't watch it live. So I think it'll only get more popular.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way now social media is kind of, I feel like they're plugging it a lot more and finding good campaigns kind of to keep unplugging it that way. I love it. But love what you said, Chet, this episode. Yes. Any Chet lovers out there must have been like, I knew he was good deep down. That's what I said.
I know. And Darius, too, was so good.
Especially Darius, man.
I know, we got the good guys this season.
He got put in a really not so nice situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have dealt with it either as a male, and it's not your baby.
Yeah. Your character, Beth Ann, it was, because last season there was more each episode focused on a different woman, and this season is kind of the same way, but it's different. It focuses, I think, more on the behind-the-scenes character. So your episode really, though, was like all about you.
Yeah, that was exciting in itself to read the script. I was like, wow, like this, if I have to leave the show, this is a great way to leave the show. So yeah, and I appreciated that very much. And, episode 2 kind of set me up for episode 6. So.
Yeah, that's what I liked, that this was, they just focused mainly, there was some stuff with the other girls, but I liked how they chose to just do one girl and do that episode mainly focus on them, because like we see you a little like in the previous episodes, and you seem like such an interesting character, so it was nice to have just that focus on your character.
Get to know her a little
better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we start off at the beginning with Rachel and Chet when he finds her after, this is just moments later that this episode starts from where the last ended. And it was a really emotional scene. He helped her with her dress, and he basically told her that we can't call the cops. And then she took those photos of herself. So what was she planning on? She was planning on going to the cops or waiting and just having it? I mean,
I think she was having insurance just in case anything goes bad, because she actually, I felt, sided with Chet when he's like, he knows where all the bodies are buried, and then she did seem to think in that moment, I saw it on her face, like, oh yeah, because that stuff could come back on her too, she'd lose the show. So I think that's why she decided to have insurance in case, in case she ever wanted to lose it.
Yeah. This was I thought this was a very interesting topic that kind of came up because, you think you just tell the cops, is it really worth, not telling? But then at the same time, when that's their life, they don't want to ruin that either. It was interesting. I don't know how I felt with the decision.
I felt as though Rachel would have done the same thing, and that is the look that crossed her face when, she decided to not tell the cops. I think she's thinking, okay, I probably would have told some other person the same exact thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely one of those situations that's incredibly complicated given their history in the past of what's happened. It's unfortunate, though, because it does address the issue of, women not feeling like they can come forward with domestic violence, and I think even Rachel is kind of caught up in that. Maybe she is a little bit ashamed about what has happened and doesn't necessarily know how to deal with it, as we see that she does start to get a little bit manic. Really manic.
Yeah, a little bit.
As the episode goes on. But I think that's her way of kind of dealing with it, in a sense.
And she makes Darius, do something that he doesn't really want to do again, which is to go to your hometown. And, I mean, your family, though, was really nice to him.
Oh, yeah. I think that's kind of what's so interesting about Beth Ann is that when have you ever seen her be really mean?
Yeah, that's the thing is, John Booth even likes your character the best. He wanted that delightful little racist, as he put it, to win because, yes, that's a part of the character, but at the same time, you're the nicest one.
Yeah, she comes from a small town. Yeah. Her life is a little sheltered, and, I can't say that I don't know how I would be if I was in her circumstance, so it's hard to sit and totally judge her and be like, she's hateful, because she's certainly not hateful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a little ignorant, could use some education, but, I think she means well. Yeah. I think she cares about Darius, and...
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that, that first episode, they want to pin her so bad as, this bad person, and I agree, she's more just ignorant and a little naive, compared to, she's not a bad person. Because you can tell, obviously. And her family, the family was so sweet. Yeah. I loved that. They were expecting this completely different circumstance, and they were all so excited. And I loved seeing that.
Yeah, I did too. And I also, really liked how your character's relationship with Rachel, she would sometimes know throughout the past 6 episodes that Rachel was manipulating her, someone was manipulating her, but at the end of the day, she still kind of chose to have Rachel be her confidant, because even amidst having just being beaten, she was so on to the point. You didn't notice, no one that didn't know her well noticed, and you were still relying on her.
Absolutely. If you can see the way that Rachel addresses her situations, it's hard not to look into her eyes and be like, okay, I can trust you. And this is her first time out of that town. This is her first time experiencing something like everlasting. So yeah, she wanted to win it, and so she was willing to trust her whatever level it was going to take, even though I think a part of her knew that this was, obviously she knew it was wrong, because in the end she apologizes and admits that she lied, even though it wasn't really her lie. So it's a difficult, for that character. I actually felt kind of bad for her after that episode, for sure.
Yeah, there was a great question here in the chat from Fournier Man, and he wants to know, was there anything you took from your own life that you put into the Beth Ann character?
Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah. I guess when you're younger, you can have situations where you might stereotype somebody, or based on what your family believes, in any circumstance, not necessarily a Southern cultural charge. And then, the older you get, you realize, you're exposed to more things. So, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, but then moved to California when I was still very much in my teens, and I'm totally different than I would have been had I still been growing up in the suburbs of Chicago. So yeah, I kind of do relate to her in the sense that I had this experience where I totally changed, and my dad will call me a liberal or a bleeding heart liberal because I live in California. But and I think Beth Ann kind of experienced that on a kind of a micro level. I don't think she was in the show long enough to totally change, but I think she was starting to shift. As you can see, she admits to loving Darius. And I think it's genuine.
Yeah.
Oh, his response to that was like one of my favorite. Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
So hard not to laugh at him. Like it was the end of the night. It was so everyone's so tired. I've been screaming. I barely have a voice at this point. And all of a sudden he adds this line, and I'm looking at him. I'm like.
So he just added that in?
Yeah, and
that's funny.
I was like, after they called cut, I was like, BJ, why? But then I was like, okay, I know it's funny, but like it totally threw me off.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love hearing that about stuff like that because I just would have assumed that was supposed to be said.
We add stuff all the time.
Really?
That's kind of the joy of the show. I mean, even in the first episode when I'm meeting Chantel, the whole hug, and then, you know, I don't know if you guys remember this scene and saying that we hug where I'm from. Like, it was just fun. I put that in there. Aww. We were allowed to kind of make it our own.
That's awesome.
To some degree. Yeah, a lot of creative movement for us.
How did you feel when you read the script and saw that Beth Ann had been pregnant this whole time?
I was so shocked.
Yeah.
You were drinking quite a bit.
I know. I was kind of like, wow, it would have been nice to know like 2 episodes ago, because then maybe I could have set myself up for that. But I guess if she didn't know, you know, I think she was in her earlier stages of pregnancy, and if she didn't know and she wasn't thinking about it, and as she says, I was so excited about the show that I thought I just was stressed out and missed my period. So, I mean, she doesn't say that word for word, but I think we got that, yeah. And so coming home, she realized, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. So...
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, whoa, curveball.
Yeah, Rachel was thrilled.
Yes.
Like, so thrilled.
Totally thrilled.
What an awful situation to be put into for so many different reasons. And I think that, you know, she messed up kind of a little bit at some moments, but all in all, she like dealt with that really uncomfortable, bad situation pretty well. She had some balls. Like, she just got up in front of everybody and just announced, and then she changed her story a little bit, but the way she freaked out, obviously. Rightfully so. This was a reality TV gold.
Oh, yeah. I mean, between the fight and everything else, it was definitely intense.
I loved your ex-boyfriend because...
Zach McGowan, he's amazing.
Yeah, I just watched all of Shameless.
Oh my gosh.
And he is in it quite a bit, and he plays a very similar character, and he's so good at it.
I know when I found out that it was going to be him, he's a good friend of Sherry's. So he kind of came in and did it as a favor to her, because he doesn't normally take such, like, it's not that it's a small role, but, like, you know, he's a series regular on Black Sails, and he's been on Shameless, and he wanted to come down and kind of just watch her direct, which I thought was really, really cool of him. Plus, he added such a huge element to that episode. I mean, working with this man, it's like you're looking into his eyes, and he's got these big blue eyes, and they're just so vulnerable. So even though there was like, you wanted this guy to be terrible, at the end of the day, I'm staring at him and I'm feeling bad for him as Beth Ann. I'm like, oh, you know, it was a really interesting experience working with him.
Yeah, that whole interaction, I was a little nervous because it kind of reminded me of the situation last season where she brings on, I forget the girl's name, but her abusive ex, whatever.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And it stresses me out because Rachel has that scary, like, I'm so happy look in your eye. And I'm like, someone could get hurt here. Like, someone could physically get hurt. And
someone did.
Yes. And I was so stressed.
Well, this time, your daddy pulled out the gun.
Yes.
And
like, oh no.
I loved him. I kind of just like wish I could have seen more of him. He was amazing.
Yeah, he was really fun to work with. Actually, the whole family was really well cast. They were great. And especially him. He played, you know, the big teddy bear daddy. And,
Yeah.
you know, he means well and he wanted the best for her. And I honestly think even in that situation, like her blaming Darius for being pregnant, I don't even think he was looking at Darius like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it because you're black. I really think it was because it was like, what is my daughter doing right now? She is telling the entire family that she is pregnant. Like, this is an inappropriate conversation. And I think he is more understanding than people were probably going to expect him to be.
Yeah, I took it like that too. I thought he was just kind of upset at the whole situation, not at Darius being black, because it was funny too at the end when he had the gun and Darius like, oh no, he's like, oh no, like, don't worry.
Yeah, I think it was just like, you barely know him.
Yeah.
Well, and then Rachel's reaction to watching it, that was the most disturbing part, really, of the whole thing. And that's when Coleman, whom had just gotten a call from Quinn telling him that, you know, what happened to Rachel and that she is gonna totally go off the deep end. And then she said that, you know, one little thing that Rachel does, and he noticed the tick, and then he's like, yes, you know, she's messed up.
I know. It's a hard thing to watch. I mean, and you're gonna see moving forward in the season, like, that storyline will progress, I promise you. So it's hard. I mean, but that's what she kind of gets off on, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of why she's sticked with this show as long as she has. When she is in those manic states, it's a genuine happiness for her that it's falling apart.
Yeah, watching Sherry Appleby it's almost frightening how good she gets in it. When she was kind of just like prowling around, watching it all unfold in that look, that evil satisfaction in her, it always like gives me the chills talking about it. She's incredible.
So good that like the scene that we're together and I'm telling her that I'm pregnant, there was a point where I was like, I don't know if I can keep looking in your eyes right now. I mean, I love Sherry so much and she's incredible, but like at that moment I was like, you are such a good actor that I don't know whether you are actually manic right now or not. And that's fantastic. I mean, what more can you ask for out of an actor? So she's really good at what she does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the best scenes of the episode. Her crazy eyes were perfect. But yeah.
I mean, to think that this isn't the episode that she directed, because you'd expect maybe her part to be not as hard. At least if I were to have done that, you know, if I were starring and directing, I'd say, let me like have not as many lines this episode so I can focus more on directing. But no, this was probably her strongest episode.
Oh no, she can totally handle anything.
Yeah, you were saying she can turn it on and off.
She can turn it on and off, and then the best part about it is like you're in the scene with her and she's finishing up and she's hugging you or whatever you're doing, and then it's all of a sudden cut, and then she goes into being a director and then has to go back into being, you know, an actor again. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And she did really, really well with it. Every single day.
Yeah, it blows my mind that she directed this episode. Definitely with her character, and it just is crazy. It's crazy.
And, you know, we get a lot of this family feeling as Quet. Would that be?
Wow. Quinn and Chet?
Yeah.
Quet?
Wow.
I like it.
That kind of sounds like a gross
Quet.
word, but yeah, guys, you're welcome. Chet refers to all of them kind of as a family and that the family's falling apart. Rachel comes back with Coleman and he's really angry with them for letting this no police thing happen. And okay, this episode, if Renee were here, she's our other host who couldn't be here tonight, she has this theory that Coleman is like so much more evil than everyone else and has this whole big master plan. And I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
Honestly, he's not evil. He is the best kind of crazy. And I'm about to out myself as loving crazy dudes, but he is a fixer, aka a Mosby. You know, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, is this dude is crazy because he sees girls like Rachel and he wants to help them. And it's hot, but it's crazy town.
Oh wow,
that's my theory.
See, I guess I'm not reading him correctly, or I don't know. I don't get like any weird vibes from him. To me, I just
no.
I love the way Michael Rady plays his character. I mean, he is so balanced in all of it and just kind of has this like very mellow tone throughout, and he really keeps it together. And so you're like, okay, he's really mature, because I think he's only supposed to be like 28 years old and, you know, running the show and just doing a really good job. But I think going on, I just can't wait for you guys to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm confused by his character right now, because I think I see like evil looks every once in a while, or like weird looks, but then he's so nice. So I don't know. I'm excited to see.
He's crazy town, but in a hot way.
I mean, whatever it is, it's hot. I just don't know, like, what it is, what he is. And my real question, too, is that, you know, at first it's like, oh, yeah, Rachel was playing him to get, you know, more, just to be the main producer. But then now it feels like she is seriously depending on, I'm seeing that she's, like, needing him and really thinks this is, like, gonna work, right?
I think, too, I think it's kind of freaking her out that she knows that Chet and Quinn, they're at this point, they know her better than he does, and they know she's in this like state. And I think that since he knows less, she wants to distance herself more from Quinn and Chet, because they're trying to, I don't know, that's what I took of it.
Yeah, they're trying to fix her in the way that they know how, but with Coleman, she's like, well, maybe he knows something new, because obviously what, you know, they've done over the years is not working. And it's funny how parental they were with her. I actually really liked that. I mean, Quinn's first thought was, oh my God, this happened to Rachel. I'm going to rip his balls off.
Yes, I
And
loved
then
that.
thought about it.
Oh, that scene was fantastic,
Yeah.
right?
They
Oh my
all
God.
care about each other in a really messed up way.
It's like
Yes.
family.
It's like a very dysfunctional family, which I think every family is dysfunctional on some level.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And I was wondering what it was that was going to bring Quinn and Rachel kind of back together. And I think seeing Rachel and going in this downward spiral that Quinn has experienced before is really gonna, I think it's gonna end up bringing them back together, because I don't think Quinn's gonna give up on Rachel. And
That's a
helping
really
her.
good point, because I didn't think about it like that, because I read a lot of reviews from the episode last week, you know, where Josh Kelly, who we love dearly, who was here last week, who spoke so highly of you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Josh.
And he, you know, we love him. It was such a hard thing to watch, but a lot of reviewers and people on the internet were saying that they just thought it was really out of character for Jeremy to do something like
be
that.
honest with you, Monica and I, our Hot Rachel and I were watching episode 5 together, and we were both like, during that scene, we were like, no.
Yeah.
Like, and it was hard. It was hard to watch. You know, we love Josh Kelly a lot, and, you know, I like Jeremy. I know apparently people don't for some reason. I mean, okay, I understand it, but I like Jeremy, and I did the first season, and I think he means well. I think he's just also dysfunctional in the sense that any of the other characters are dysfunctional, and I think anyone that gets on Rachel's bad side, I think nobody really likes those people, which I understand because Rachel's the best. But yeah, it was a hard thing to watch.
But I do think that perhaps, even if maybe it was a bit out of character, this was what they needed to bring Quinn and Rachel, like the real love story, back together. They needed something bad to really happen, that she would be protective. She was very much like a mother towards her.
I totally agree with you.
And, you know, that's what it was. It just kind of sucks, because I always had hope that Jeremy and Rachel would get back together, but now that's, like, never happening.
Never
Like,
know.
ever.
Yeah, she's messed up. It's,
Yeah.
There's a whole nother season, guys.
yeah, I honestly would not be surprised if she, like, I don't even know. So many options with this show. They're not afraid to cross lines and do weird stuff. So
No.
I mean, they killed a girl last season.
Yeah. I know.
They don't follow those general guidelines of what's
No.
right and wrong in society. You know, I think that's what's kind of interesting about the show, because people don't, right? I mean, I think we're conditioned to follow certain things with society, but I think we actually just don't. It's behind closed doors, and they're showing it.
for sure.
So,
Yeah, and it's, you know, people will hate it if that is the way it goes, but
it happens.
Yes,
you're right,
a
it
lot.
does. And she is, you know, kind of twisted in a way. So I don't really think she has boundaries as far as, like, what she's going to do and not do, whether that's with other people or herself. So I want to talk a little bit about, what did I call it? Quet?
Yeah.
This sounds kind of weird. You know, Chet has been watching her with John Booth. And
He's a good-looking guy.
they had a pretty sexy scene in the
young eyes.
cemetery.
Yeah.
You know, that was really romantic. I was like, wait, are they in this? Oh, yeah, they are in the cemetery.
And we watch Buffy. How many
weird,
times
right?
do people make out with a cemetery?
Yeah, but those were with vampires,
Yeah.
and, like, the cemetery is their home because they're dead. But, no, it was nice, and I don't trust either of them, like, at any point. I don't think that his intentions are fully, you know, that he's just obsessed with her. I mean, she's fantastic and beautiful, but
See, I think he is.
really? He's just infatuated with her.
I think he is too.
Yeah, I don't have any bad vibes from him, and definitely after that conversation with what's her name, Winkelstein, or what's after their conversation too, because I thought the same thing. I was getting very good vibes from him. I don't see anything sketchy with him, which is very rare on this show, that I don't even question him at all. But after she said, like, don't mess this up. Like, you have a chance for someone to make you happy. And so,
Sad.
I know, it's really sad.
And he's Mr. Fantastic. What are you
Yeah.
gonna say?
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody is Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's good. I don't think
No,
that
like,
he's
he
gonna.
really
He
is
really
Mr.
was Mr. Fantastic. in
Oh,
the
well, I
Fantastic
know that
Four.
is true. But, like, nobody is really I forgot about that part.
That's
like,
right. No
well-
relationship is perfect, and no
Yeah.
one is perfect. That's true.
But it's, you know, giving Chet, like, energy to be just like him and
to be a better person.
better person maybe. And he's, like we said, he's been very good this episode, and we have a fun scene, speaking of Wagerstein, where they do her segment. And
We were laughing so hard at that last night.
it was really, oh my god, there were so many really funny lines, just
So many funny lines.
left and right. And okay, is it just me? And I've watched each episode, you guys, like 2 times. I never noticed the cop. I don't think I've ever noticed her.
Her name is Carissa, and she will be more present
She will.
in some coming episodes.
I figured that since she's still on there, that there has to be more coming with her. Because, that's so true that, I mean, you always heard them talking about how one of the contestants was a cop, but they don't really focus on her too much.
Yeah, and how relevant is it right now to have a black female cop on this show? I mean, they're probably going to bring up some of the stuff that's currently going on, since it was, also going on before the show. But now, I mean, they've got a lot of hot topic issues, and that may be what prompts Ruby to come back, since, she's all about her hashtag blacktivism. Yeah. Which is cool. Like, and that's something, because we haven't noticed her, but now we're intrigued because of all the mean things those other girls said to her.
About her hair.
It was so awful.
Which, by the way, Carissa, I love your hair. If for some
and she's
reason-
beautiful.
She's
I know, and
absolutely
she's gorgeous. I'm like, this is, but they need some drama, so.
Well,
course.
and Hot Rachel is a lot more mean than I thought she was. Because remember how nice she was to Ruby?
Money.
But I thought she seemed so nice at the beginning of the season. Remember she was giving Ruby dresses and stuff?
I still want to
she
know
liked
what
her.
she's up to.
Yeah, I know. She's still up to something.
She knows.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's something. She's not just like, I don't know. And her personality has changed to me since she got outed. Like, she just seemed, maybe it was just because she was
Since
playing
last
a role.
episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Yael is just trying to compete with the other girls, and I think in this situation, some of the girls do get a little snarky because I think that's how The Bachelor is.
Yeah, I think that is.
Yeah, and so I think she's just getting into this groove where she's like, whatever, I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, you get in. I feel like their minds get into this almost competition mode once you're there so long because you're stuck with these girls and you see everyone else kind of changing and you just do it then.
Plus, let's be honest, they're drinking.
Yes.
They're frustrated.
Yeah.
They didn't win that home date. And, I mean, I didn't win the home date either. So I think for them, it's like, what? I'm here. I'm trying to win this, and it's not working out to the way I want it to. So I can see why girls might get kind of vicious. And, girls can be vicious
Yeah.
towards each other,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I just like it when they're nice to each other. It's
I
so
know.
refreshing
I know,
to
I like when
see.
they're friends.
But this time, Tiffany also was a huge. She wasn't as mean as Yael, but she was. I don't even know what to the word to use to describe her.
And this is me. I'm like, I like them both better after this episode just because I found it entertaining. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well.
Makes it a
I
little more
think some
interesting.
of it's just insecurity. I mean, not to the actors, obviously,
Yeah.
but as the characters. I think the girls on the show, they come on for a specific reason, and then it's scary for them, and then the insecurities do come out for them, and I think that's when those mean words come
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah.
See, Jay and Madison were super proud of themselves.
Madison.
Yeah.
I freaking love her this season.
Genevieve.
Yeah,
she's
she's
awesome.
Yeah, she's gonna be on in about 3 weeks, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's
oh,
gonna be here in
good.
about 3 weeks.
The progression of her character from season 1 till now is incredible. I love watching it.
She awesome?
She's so awesome because she still looks so innocent, but she just gets the smile. She's like a mini Rachel, just so happy,
That
evil.
first scene in episode 1,
Yes.
it makes you want to throw up.
yeah.
You're like,
it makes her throw
what
up.
are you doing? Stop.
I know. It's
And it was
incredible.
beautiful between both her and Megan. I was like, wow, you guys really pulled off something
Oh, yeah.
that was not easy to do. So
Yeah,
So awesome.
and I love that. Was it Chet or was it Jay that said to her, "You want to really produce?"
Chet.
And she was like,
Yeah.
and
It
she
was
just smiled. But then her and Jay so Chet told, her and Jay were the ones that started this whole thing
Yeah.
together. And then Chet found her and whispered about Romeo and Tiffany. She whispered it in Chantal's ear, and that, now everyone, and she admitted it. It took her, I was expecting her to completely deny it, but she didn't at all.
She was like, nope. Totally. Yeah, that's why I love Madison, is she's just like shameless.
Oh, completely shameless.
She had the big old smile on her
With
face.
a smile on her
Yeah.
face while doing it, right?
Yeah, and then Chet ends up making a deal.
Yeah.
With Tiffany. I think he's trying to be like John Booth because John Booth owns,
Sure.
things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I
For sure.
definitely think that's some of his influence or inspirations at this point.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like, it's weird because it's Chet, but it's kind of sweet, like how he's now trying so hard to win Quinn back. I'm like, oh, because I'm kind of like we said last season, even though Chet was just a dirtball, I never found myself like hating Chet.
Yeah.
I was
me
just
either.
like, oh, Chet's just a dirtball. Like, that's all I thought.
Yeah, to me, he
funny.
was just a fun guy.
He was always very entertaining, and
Craig Bierko is hilarious. I mean,
I love him.
It's so fun working with him, even though we didn't have anything crazy scenes, but like small little things. You just look at him and he's got these eyes and like the nuances of the choices that he makes. He's really funny.
Yeah,
really
I
fun
like
to
him a
work
lot.
with.
Yeah, he did a good job this episode, and so he told Tiffany that she just needed to go tell Darius the truth. He would arrange for her to like be in his bedroom.
His reaction.
Again, Darius, like he's just like, this is never ending.
I know. The poor guy is like just pulled in so many different directions, and I really love that scene where after I'm eliminated,
Yes.
he loses it, because it's like, how much more are you gonna make me go through? Like, as much as he maybe doesn't like Beth Ann, that was not fun for him to watch or experience.
And he, so he ends up feeling genuinely guilty. I mean, Adam had moments last season where he was kind of nice, and he kind of had good intentions, but Darius really doesn't seem to have bad intentions.
No, yeah. That's what I like about this is I had a feeling they'd maybe do something different with the suitor. They weren't going to have two suitors who really don't care. And we kind of predicted that Darius would end up actually having feelings for a girl, Ruby. And I kind of predicted that he'd be a good guy, and I truly think that he is a very good guy.
Yeah, because even in the scene with Rachel, like, he did what she wanted because he was concerned for her.
Yeah,
That
he
is
definitely cares.
And you had your whole speech when he was letting either you or Tiffany go, and he told you how brave it was of you to do that, said he couldn't, and then said he was going to set aside money for your kid for college.
Yeah, that was hard on me. It was weird. I'm usually not like that, but like something was so vulnerable in that moment. Like, there's so many people watching you. There's like 100 extras over here. There's the girls that you've come to love and know watching you and looking concerned. And then you're just standing there and you're just feeling all of this. And I was like, oh, I'm actually being kicked off the show. And it was great though, because it helped me to get through that scene and do it to the best of my abilities. But I think she appreciated what he did for her, and as much as she tried, didn't work out. And I don't know. I like that she stuck out and tried to make it turn into something.
Yeah, I thought it was a good, like, vulnerable scene and a very honest scene in both of those characters, which I really liked. Beth Ann was so honest and vulnerable, and you could feel that. And then you could tell Darius, too, even though he didn't have those strong feelings for her like she did, he truly did. You could see those emotions, and he was so honest, and I loved that scene. It was...
Yeah, it was, and he knows Rachel for what she is now, and I think he's going to really start breaking the rules officially now, because this is the things he's done is not something he's ever wanted to do.
I think he will.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun and interesting to watch. And then lastly, of course, which I'm personally very excited about, we see Quinn call a mysterious guy.
We knew, right?
I knew he was coming, but I don't know.
I can't even imagine how excited fans are that Adam is coming back.
And whoa, he looked good. He got like some shaggy hair going on.
So much better.
Yes.
He's got some tan going on.
Yeah, he's looking good. Welcome back.
He looks rugged.
Yeah.
I was
into
like,
it.
Did he and Jeremy both want to be like mountain men for Rachel? Like, that's what I thought when I saw him. I'm like, oh, he's got the hair. I was like,
Look,
he and Jeremy
everybody
talk.
loves Rachel.
Everyone loves Rachel. Crazy town. Like you said. Guys like the crazy.
Well, there's that scene at the end where Rachel and Coleman are hooking up, and she has one of those creepy looks on her faces again. It's It's like, I'm really glad he couldn't see her in that moment because it was kind of terrifying. He would have been like, what's wrong with you? You're scaring me. And I don't know if it was a look of control or love or like what it was, but I felt as though it was like they were trying to send us a message about her character in some way at this point.
Oh, yeah.
On.
Yeah, to me it was almost like, I don't know, I think she like thinks that she convinced Coleman that, you know, like she's okay, and she's like, haha, I got him. Like, I still have kind of somewhat control in the situation. That's what I took. I definitely think they like were showing all that for like a reason, and she did have that creepy, like, I don't know, look in her eyes.
Yeah. Crazy Rachel face.
It's like, let's have a, like, just a show where we just try to decipher what that crazy face meant of Rachel, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many takes of those she did, and just be like, I'm gonna look at it because I'm the director and see which one's the
Probably
best.
a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, it comes together so well.
Well, on
So
that
good.
note, let's get into some quick predictions.
And now,
Rachel gets
your
off on
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Let's start over here.
Okay, so I'm actually very confused about how Adam's gonna fit into all this. I don't know. I feel like if anything, it's just gonna make Rachel go more crazy and manic. And I didn't see the teaser for next episode, but I just think that's gonna be bad. And so that's why I'm kind of confused why Quinn did this, because
she wants Coleman out of the picture because she said he's like cancer. We have to cut him out.
That's why. But I feel like she should know that this is going to make Rachel go crazy too. So weird. But I'm also I just am so curious. These aren't even predictions because I don't even know what to predict. But I'm so curious about Hot Rachel and what her thing is, because she is so up to something.
It's something good. I could tell if you look at Lindsay's face.
I just know she is. And this episode, they didn't give any like hints to what it was, because in previous episodes she does something and we're like, oh, what she's using that for something. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, to me, I do feel like that Adam was brought back just to get rid of Coleman. They weren't even really thinking about anything else. Quinn's just like, oh, I know how to mess this up. Bring back an old boyfriend that actually would be a good suitor in their mind. Like with Jeremy, with what happened, she's like, okay, that's not really competition. But Adam would be competition for Coleman. And I think that's Quinn's whole plan, but I don't think it will work. Because Rachel doesn't seem to give a crap about Adam, but we'll see. It may change with her manic state. But also, yeah, Yael is up to something, and I still think it's somehow she's either getting revenge on them for a past contestant that may be related to her, more so than an undercover reporter.
Okay. Yeah. I know you can't give us predictions, but if you were to predict what is gonna happen to Beth Ann?
I don't know. We've actually talked about this. We're like, well, what is she gonna do? We've said so many different things. Like, does she end up with her ex-boyfriend because she has this baby? Does she get rid of the baby? Like, I don't know. Does she come back and the baby's actually black? Like, we've made up so many different things about her because we have no idea. I mean, I do feel bad because I felt like in that she really wanted to get out of that small town, and now it's like, well, I don't think that's gonna happen for her. But she'll be okay. She's got loving parents and a great ex-boyfriend.
She'll be okay. Yeah. She's a good girl. She was a fun character, I'm sure. Really sweet. Mm-hmm. I really, really liked her because we were supposed to not like her. Yeah. And then it's like you couldn't, and that's how everyone else felt. I feel definitely, Hot Rachel is up to something, and I think it's kind of sinister. I think it's like deeper and darker.
Yeah, I think it might be pretty dark too. Yeah. I don't know why I get that.
I mean, I kind of think she's related to Rachel in some way. That's been my prediction.
Some really interesting predictions.
I think that Adam will drive a wedge between her and Coleman, and I don't know how much longer Coleman's going to be around for. I'm not sure. And then and I think that Ruby is going to come back at some point, and
yeah, definitely.
There's going to be some more storylines with the cop character too, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, also we saw Quinn call John Booth too, so I'm hoping that we see her be happy. I want her to be happy.
Yeah, and then Chet is going to continue to try to win her over. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here, Lindsay.
Thank you.
We really appreciate
it. Was a lot of fun.
One more time, ladies, where can everyone find you on the interweb?
On the interweb, you can find me at _Abby Vega.
I'm Lacretia Lyon, so you can find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere, since there is only one.
at Lindsay Musil. That's LINDSAYMUSIL.
And guys, please don't forget to tweet us with your thoughts using the hashtag ABTVUnREAL. You can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.